What have you been getting up to music-wise then, with yourself, Frankie, and your sister then? You've got your own, is it a KINTRA kind of band
Yeah.
together then, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, just, what we can do, like we've been doing a lot of mixes,
Yeah.
which have a few arguments have ensued from that. Nah, but
What does it mean, John?
it's a nightmare, isn't it? No, but I think the difficulty is with me and Jozette, because she is based down in Newcastle.
Yeah.
Obviously this flat's hers, so she's allowed to come up here like when there's like essential work needing done, which is all the time because we're getting new windows.
Yeah.
But you know, it is difficult. So what we tend to do is like I'll kind of work on a mix and I'll send her tracks and say like, what do you think of these? And she's like, yeah, I think I can make up a violin part to that.
Yeah.
So that kind of happens. And then we've just finished our EP.
Nice.
It took us about a year to bloody do it, but
Yeah, get it done right. That's the thing.
yeah, we just thought like, because it's our first one, and we weren't all that clued up on Ableton when we began. Like we did a few like kind of workshops and courses. I did actually that's how I learned to DJ. I went to Ibiza in 2017 and did an Ableton course and a DJ course at the same time because I couldn't DJ at all. And then after 2 weeks I was a DJ. So but yeah, it was great. But yeah, so we kind of just decided to, really focus on like making music, especially like during the pandemic. There was not much else to do. So we've finally kind of done that. So it's just the process of kind of sending it out, trying to get it signed. And I mean, it still needs to be mixed and mastered. I'm very aware of that because obviously we've used like the live violin. So it is quite difficult to mix live instruments in when you're creating electronic music. It can be quite tricky.
Yeah, especially the violin, I think, as well, isn't it? It's quite a delicate instrument, isn't it?
It is. So, you've got to watch that it doesn't just sound like the violin's on top of the music. You kind of want it to sound, and yeah, our mix and mastering skills aren't like the best. Like we have kind of like sought a friend. We did kind of get him to kind of help a wee bit, but it still isn't like what we'd like it to be.
So there's an online service called, I believe it's called Glowcast, and they do mixing and mastering for quite a reasonable price, actually.
All right, okay.
Over details. It's a guy called Connor Dalton, and they've done everything from like Daft Punk to a lot of Soma stuff, and
very good.
Lots of really good music. So they're definitely one to look at if you're looking at mixing and mastering getting done.
Oh yeah, thanks. That'd be great. I mean, yeah, I think we're just going to see like what labels say and stuff as well, because I know sometimes they can be a wee bit picky. Yeah. And they're like, take that out. And we're like, oh God, okay. So yeah, we're just going to see what happens. But thank you.
What is it, Frankie? What kind of style of track is it? Is it more disco-based stuff, is it, or
funky? No, actually, it's very kind of melodic techno.
Right.
So I've let like a few of my pals listen to it, and they've said, very kind of afterlife vibes. Right. I think just because you've kind of got the sweeping synths and like obviously the violins, it is very melodic, which is the kind of music that we tend to play when we're playing as KINTRA. When I play on my own, I'm not very melodic techno. I mean, I probably wouldn't play so much. Like I love it, but it's not me. I kind of save that for Jozette, or when I'm doing stuff with Jozette, because like there'd be nothing worse like doing a mix and then I've used like this really beautiful melodic techno track and Jozette's like, I could have created a violin part to that. What are you doing? So yeah, I kind of stick to more, my vibe.
Yeah, it sounds like you've got a good kind of balance going on. What you've got going on, you kind of know your own kind of parts to play in there. I think that can be good as well. Your strengths. And
it took a while to get there. Like, not gonna lie. I think our first
differences in there.
Well, see what? It's actually not that bad. Like, Jozette and I work quite well together. I mean, I would say that most of the picking of the tunes does tend to be me. But she does really very much like that style. Like melodic techno is her thing. Like I think she prefers that the most. Although saying that, we have done a few kind of more disco tracks. We've been working with these producers called Flows at the minute, and they're Glasgow based. I actually met one of them through work. That's how we met. It was totally in the cafeteria in the BBC Scotland building, so that was quite funny. But we've been working with them, and that's more kind of disco.
Right.
Kind of disco, like a bit Italo-ish. Which I actually sing on one of the tracks, so that's fun because that's kind of, I'm a singer above all else.
All right.
Yeah, but that just kind of got shoved to the side when all this kind of started happening. But yeah, so hopefully we can kind of develop that. But that's kind of been, sitting on the back burner a little bit because they've got loads of stuff to do, and we've been quite busy as well with our own stuff. So
You guys
hopefully
were doing quite a few live performances before the pandemic and all that as well, weren't you?
yeah, we got quite lucky with that one, to be honest. We did get some really great gigs. I think, just because of the violin, people are like, oh, that's a wee bit different. So
It's definitely quite unique having that combination of the live DJing and the live violin side by side.
Yeah, it's great. Like, I really do enjoy that. So yeah, we did have a few gigs. We got to play really cool places. One in Czech Republic, which was just unreal. Played like one in Spain, a few down south, and then obviously in Scotland. So yeah, we were doing all right. And then obviously everything kind of came to a close, and which was a shame because we were going to have our Club 69 debut as well, which was meant to be last April. I know, and I've never been there before, so it's a wee bit sad. But
I've been there, but I can't remember much about it, to be honest. I think I'm pretty sure I have been there a couple of times, but I couldn't tell you one thing about the place.
But
that's
yeah,
I
know. I'm just a wee bit, but hopefully, like,
69, I've been in there quite a few times. In my hometown, actually, I'm based in Paisley.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. What's it like? 'Cause honestly, I've never been. I know it's kind of.
John, what's it like?
Honestly, can't remember either. No, it's good. It's good. Got a great sound system and all. It's been updated quite a lot over the last few years as well. So I've not been in the last few years, to be honest.
You were talking as well, Frankie, about a lot of projects going on. It's all about kind of trying to manage the projects as well. You're working full time, I take it. Is it BBC Scotland then? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a digital journalist. Right. So I work only 4 days a week, 10 hours a day, but 4 days a week. So that's quite good because I do have like a 3-day weekend, and I just kind of got on with stuff. It has been a bit slower during the pandemic, just purely because, my job is to find stories and turn them into digital videos. And unfortunately, it's quite difficult to do that because we're not able to necessarily film in the way that we have done in the past. We usually, as digital journalists, use our phones. So I would just kind of like come up and be like, but unfortunately, it's hard to do that social distancing, but it's been fine. It's been fine, and but I am kind of looking forward to getting back into the office and doing everything more creatively.
Yeah, I think it's just trying to balance the projects. Into you start on one musical project, and before you know, another 5 appear off the back of that one, and you're just like, trying to balance the ideas. It's difficult, isn't it?
I know. I mean, personally, like, it was like way back last, I think it was April, May, my friend asked me to speak on one of his tracks in Spanish. And I genuinely forgot all about it because like it was literally like back in May. So I just did this wee piece about like literally how I'd just been in Costa Rica like the month or before during the pandemic, and I almost got stuck. So I just basically kind of did that, and that was grand. And then that came out last week, and it's doing pretty well. So I was like, oh, great.
All that uni work's finally paid off.
I know. So I was like, great. I'm really happy for him. He's a great producer. Low Tracks, he's brilliant. So that was grand. And then Fear and Low are the boys that remixed it, and then they got in touch and were like, oh, do you kind of want to maybe do some more speaking Spanish and do it from some of our tracks? And I was like, yeah, or even singing. So that's another thing I've bloody signed myself up for. But no, it'll be great. Like I'm really looking forward to that. So no, but it is good. It's just a big balancing act. And I think what the difficulty is it's exciting, like kind of having projects and things to look forward to, especially when there's not much to look forward to at the minute. But I think the issue is because there's so much time we have, it's very easy to just put it aside and be like, oh, I've got time. And then the next day comes, oh, I've got time. And then you've got all these mixes or whatever you need to do. And you're like, damn it, like I've left it. And then you're kind of rushing. And I think also another thing is difficult is it's hard to stay motivated when there's nothing apart from staying in the house to do. You know what I mean? It is dead hard. That is another thing.
Quickly the days can fly by, actually, and then you're like, well, what happened to the last 2 weeks?
I know, it's crazy, but I think
I try not to talk to John too much on Zoom now, because every time we talk, we just get more ideas, Frankie. It's crazy. Like, what's it like, John? We've got a world dominations coming up next month. I think we're ready to just take over the world.
A notebook full of them here, working away through them one at a time.
It's getting ridiculous, isn't it? Brilliant. No, the only reason, Frankie, I was asking about your work as a journalist in that is just that I wanted to thank you for putting my professional picture up on the page. That was phenomenal. That made my day. That did.
Oh, it was such a good picture. No, I love doing that. I love being able to do that. So yeah, that's also part of my job. I get to man the social media accounts for BBC Scotland. So yesterday morning I was asked, right, can you collate some pictures of the sunset? And then there was one of our colleagues on the online team. He was already kind of collating a gallery. So I was like, right, asking for some more, and then we kind of put it in a Dropbox, and then we picked.
That sounds like a great job.
It's really good. But it can be a lot of fun. It really can. So
you ever put some cat pictures on there?
See what I do, like so we have a gallery every Friday for BBC Scotland, and it's just a picture gallery of just anyone can send in a picture of Scotland or something that's taken in Scotland, and the amount of like animal pictures we get is just insane, and they do really well on social media. So we're always posting, like, if you post an animal picture, like, it's going to do well. So that's what we kind of.
So Paul's pretty much got a full family of guinea pigs over there. So
let's get the guinea pigs out.
You
should. I think, Paul. Just put it in, like, you know, like a really kind of nice aesthetic in the garden. Make sure it can't run away though, and then get some like really cool pictures, and there you go.
One's called Ziggy, one's called McCartney. Is that after like Paul McCartney and like David Bowie, basically? So maybe that'll go down a treat. That's the next stage.
That's what you got to do. You're a photographer now.
I think you're getting a lot of animal pictures as well, Frankie, because nobody's getting anywhere to go. The only person, the only thing to take a picture of is their animal next to them, basically. I
know, actually. We had a lot of snowmen as well, and it was snowing, so that was cute.
We've kind of gone off music a bit here, haven't we? Sorry, I've strayed you. I was getting a bit of a big head after that picture got published. I'm now classing myself as a professional photographer.
What did you take on, though?
That was a great picture.
Yeah, on the Samsung S10, I'll honestly see the pictures that phone always takes. Me and my girlfriend always have battles because her iPhone just never cuts it, and I always she always goes, yours is always better than this iPhone. But honestly, the Samsung S10 has always been phenomenal for the pictures.
You're letting yourself down there. I think it's just your sheer talent, Paul.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of settings you've got to twiddle. I've got autofocus, and there's a lot of settings that have to be set. But no, honestly, that the Samsung for pictures is just honestly phenomenal for these types of pictures.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to invest because my iPhone 7 Plus is beginning to get a bit archaic.
Yeah, we're working for Samsung now, John. We're sponsored by Samsung for selling.
I used to be a Samsung man, but I recently went over to the iPhone Mini, and I've got to say it is better than the Samsung.
Oh, no.
We've not had this conversation yet, Paul. Maybe we're one for off air.
Honestly, Frankie, see the amount of tech that man buys, though, it's ridiculous. Every time he comes on to Zoom, he's bought another random thing that will sit in a box and never get used.
What is it you've been up to during lockdown, Frankie? Obviously, kind of working on the EP and stuff.
Yeah, so like I said, EP mixes, so many mixes, but that's kind of, see what, I'm actually grateful for lockdown in that sense, because see, before lockdown, I personally didn't have many mixes up at all. And the ones I did have were awful. They were like old, and when my style was completely different, and my style has changed a lot actually during lockdown, like personally. So yeah, that's been great because now I have too many mixes up on my SoundCloud. Nobody listens, but it's, you know, that is something that I have been really grateful for, and I've been enjoying that, and my radio show as well for Groove City Radio. That's been good, and we're about to become an FM station, so we're all very excited about that.
I have to give a shout out to the Groove City Radio because me and John have just recently joined doing the show on there as well. They're doing great things over there, aren't they?
I know, it's so exciting, isn't it? So that's something I'm really kind of excited about. Also, you know, getting back to the studio, that's one thing I can't wait until, because I love that studio. It's such a, you know, nice homely vibe. Even though it's haunted by the ghost Tam.
Was it haunted?
So, Michelle says it's the guy's called Tam, apparently.
Okay.
I believe in all that, so I trust her. So whenever I'm on my own, I'm just a bit like, oh God, Tam's looking around. He's probably in the corner.
Judging the mixes.
I know.
Judging your mix.
I know. And then I've been kind of focusing on the women collective that we formed last year, which is something I wanted to do for a very, very long time. I was so happy when we managed to do that. And I'm really, really lucky and grateful that we got that first gig. Literally about a week or so before, I think it was literally like a week before it was announced as a pandemic.
Right.
So
is that the Polka Dot Disco Club? Was it
Polka Dot Disco Club? A name that I came up with honestly about 3 years ago. And I just really liked the name and just didn't know what the hell I was going to use it for. I knew I wanted to do some sort of kind of like club night or women collective. I just didn't really know what. And then, it kind of took form last year, or December 2019-ish. That's kind of when we kind of created the idea and contacted Dundee Union and was like, right, can you help us with this and these workshops? So we've got this great group of girls, and we just kind of encourage them to do mixes, and we've got the mix series we've been starting to do. So that's been going for a few months now. And we just had a great mix last week from Beth. She's a Glasgow-based DJ, so that was great, really housey. And then we've got the radio show with Radio Buena Vida, which is Glasgow-based. You've probably heard of them as well. And so that's more kind of that's not really so much me. It's I'm really keen to give the girls a voice and a chance to kind of explore their the genres that they like, and kind of get that confidence behind the mic. Some of them have already got a lot of experience, but some of them don't. So we kind of do that each month, and I'm getting like the girls to kind of go on rotation. So that's quite a new thing.
Is that live shows then? Yeah.
So it's not live because unfortunately we can't go into the studio, and it just kind of, I think that they do have capacity to make it live, and there's like a software you can use, but because like obviously I'm trying to like organize it, it's kind of too much stress. So I just say to them, look, like get a pre-record and that'll be grand. And it's only an hour, so it's not too long. So we do that with them. So that's great. And I'm really happy that, and they seem to be really enjoying that. So I'm really happy. And Jozette had her first show as well. Jozette did her show last month.
Right.
Because Jozette, she's never really done loads of radio. So
yeah,
I was good. I was really happy. I was like, Jozette, you did really well. I know that sounds so patronising, doesn't it?
Well, it's quite a big thing to do, I think, to go on the mic and do that, though. It's quite to command a radio show takes a lot of effort, I think, doesn't it?
I know. She did it really well. But she did say she sounded very sleepy. It was very ASMR, like, hello, I'm Jozette, and this is my radio show. And we were like, okay, you really need to like ramp it up next time. Just be a bit more enthusiastic.
Coffee before the show, and she will.
But no, she was great. She was brilliant. So me and her actually.
Just tell her there's a, sorry, Frankie, just tell her there's a ghost behind her, and that'll wake her up a bit.
I know. But no, so me and Jozette actually are going to do our own radio show. We've started that with God, so many bloody things. I need to write a list of what I need to do. Anyway, so me and Jozette have started this show with Project Radio, which is a brand I've been a massive fan for a while. And we did a guest mix for them last year, and then they got us on board to do a radio show. So that'll be us together, which is going to be interesting. So it's 2 hours, and we're recording a mix. So I'm just kind of left to my own devices. I'm kind of doing that with like some input from her. And then because obviously she's in Newcastle and the show is literally in, I think, of like a week or so, we're going to have to do like this kind of format for, speaking over the music.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to do that at some point next week. So that'll be fun.
A lot on your plate.
Yeah, but it's worth it. You know what I mean? It's worth it. And I do enjoy it, and it's all fun. So
see, like the DJ collective as well then, Frankie, see, have you got advice for women that are starting out, or women that might want to get involved with what you guys are doing? Then I'm not asking for myself or John, although we'd love to be involved. I'll put on a wig and maybe try and sneak in. But have you got advice for women that might want to kind of start out into DJing and things like that?
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that. I'll stick a wig on and join, because like what Polka Dot Disco Club never meant to be was exclusive. You know what I mean? Like, we're not trying to say get away men, we're only for women. But it's just, obviously in the industry at the minute, it kind of has to be that way. No, it doesn't have to be that way, but it's just, there's not that much kind of equality yet. Yeah. But we're getting there. And that's why we started. We started it obviously to give these women confidence. So basically, my advice for women starting out, it is hard because it can be quite difficult. I started out completely on my own. I decided to go to a DJ course and then came back to Edinburgh, and I'd already graduated, so I didn't really have like pals in like in a society or whatever who were doing the same thing as me. So I had to just find all these people on my own. So my advice is try and find like-minded people. Get in touch with collectives like us. Like just say, look, I'm wanting to start out. Do you have any advice? can I do a guest mix, whatever, just get in touch. And most people are like really lovely. So, obviously we've got Polka Dot Disco Club, you've got like Fierce Collective up in Aberdeen, you've got Miss World in Edinburgh, and there's kind of loads of women DJs that are popping up, especially a lot more than when I started. 3.5 years ago, like there's way more. So honestly, just even like reaching out to some people, like my DMs are always open. Just say like, I'm kind of keen to start. Do you have any advice? Because it is hard, you know what I mean? Especially during a pandemic, it's like, but yeah, I think best advice as well. Sorry, this is a bit rambly. I do go on. I think, get invested in like a decent pair of decks. If you want to take this seriously, then invest in a good pair of decks. If you just want to do it for fun, like just get like a wee tractor or whatever. But get a set of decks and just don't be afraid to kind of do your own thing as well. But I do think it's easier surrounding yourself with other like-minded people. And I don't say just reach out to women, like reach out to men as well. But it's just like I personally found that, or whatever you identify as, of course. But I just found that personally, it was harder to kind of reach out to guys when you didn't know anyone, because it's kind of hard to become one of the guys, like one of the, like, I mean,
intimidating. I can't imagine that, but it must be quite intimidating to reach out in that way and just kind of get no guidance or help with that. So it's really inspiring what you're doing, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, what I did with Polka Dot Disco Club, like I say this all the time, it wasn't anything innovative or new. You know what I mean? Like you had other groups doing this, but it's just, it was just a way for us to teach women to DJ, because like I said, like in Dundee, that's where we kind of started, Dundee Union. I think, the reason why we started it, especially there, was because I'd been asked to DJ at Dundee Union. I thought, let's get a girl, and I'll just get, like, because they said, oh, do you want to bring a friend along? I DJ there all the time. I'll just bring a friend along to DJ with you, and I was like, okay, I'll get a girl, like, why not? And there was nobody, and that's when I realized, right, I need to do something. So perhaps these women just don't have the confidence, or this, like, they don't know where to begin. So that's why we put the applications out, and like obviously there was a lot of interest, so it just proved to me that there was a desire out there. Like people do want to do it, it's just they didn't know where to begin. And obviously now I've become really close friends with these girls, and I've spoken to them since, and they have said, like literally that was it, they just didn't know where to begin. And it is quite intimidating when there's all these guys. And another difficult thing is, how do you get gigs? You know what I mean? That's quite hard as well. So I've been really going out my way to, obviously I can't do it right now, but I was, we were in the works to getting them gigs. Sorry, I am on such a tangent. It's quite
inspiring, because it is difficult, because the gigs thing is difficult, because unless you're part of an agency or you have got great contacts over the years, it is difficult to pick up the gigs, other than turning up at events on your own and trying to maybe show face in that. But it is difficult, so it's really inspiring what you guys are doing, definitely.
I think that was the thing as well, like, starting out on my own as a female, like you said, it is quite difficult to kind of get gigs. So a lot of the time it is through who you know and friends. And especially in the underground, the kind of the grassroots scene, it is a lot of pals booking pals, which is great. Like, that's brilliant, and I've done it and people have done it. But if you're not friends with them, then it can be quite difficult, especially if, it's all these guys and they're all like a big friend group, and you're like, how do I become friends with this guy? Like, it can be, it is more hard, it is difficult. But
it sounds like you've made quite a lot of progress with it though, and definitely in a short period of time as well. Is there more you're going to try and do more workshops and bring more people on board with it, do you think?
Right, I've been asked that quite a few times. I don't know. The reason I say that is because it was a lot of work. And obviously, like, I loved it and it was great, but me and Jozette were having to go through from Dundee, and she was coming from Glasgow and Newcastle to Dundee every weekend, every Saturday, for a few weeks, and teach these girls. And that was completely our choice, and we wanted to. And obviously we offered the classes for free because we wanted it to be inclusive to anyone. We didn't want anyone being left out, you know what I mean? Like, just because they couldn't afford it, that's not fair. But obviously the transport was coming out of our own pocket, which is grand. Like, obviously my mum's in Dundee, I can visit her, it's cool. But it was just quite a lot. It was a lot. I might do it in the future, but not necessarily to become part of the collective, maybe just like as a one-off kind of workshop or whatever. It just depends, but it's not really our priority at the minute. The priority, you know, obviously, well, right now we can't really do much, but like getting back into our priority was getting them gigs, and just kind of developing the girls we already had without taking too much on, because we do obviously do quite a lot. But yeah, that I think that's kind of what we'll do. Hopefully.
Yeah, definitely revisit it again. Definitely, if you when you get the time, it's a big commitment, but it seems to be it's things like that are inspiring for people, I think, really, and it's a good cause and things like that. And if it inspires somebody just to pick up the decks and have a go, then it's all good, isn't it? Really, it's all worth the effort, even if one person gets involved.
Exactly, and I think what the great thing was about Dundee Union is that they have equipment.
Yeah.
So it was brilliant that they let us, for completely free, they let us use the decks and for like 3 hours during the day, just use that space. And I think they had like 3 decks that we were on in different rooms as well. And it was just, they're brilliant. Like they were brilliant, and it was great to have them on board.
I think
so
right now is actually one of the best times to get involved with DJing, because of the equipment that's out now. You can get like really good high level equipment for a fairly cheap price right now, with the level of the MIDI controllers that are out there, especially with the Pioneer stuff as well. You know, when you start learning the entry level stuff, you can pick up the higher level stuff quite easily in terms of using it, you know?
Yeah, I don't know what you guys prefer using. I personally can't really use vinyl. Like, I mean, I can't, like, I was taught how to do it, but I'm not great, so I don't bother. And
we've been around for a while, so we started on vinyl about 20 years ago.
Yeah, I love, both. I think both have got their pros and cons, isn't it? Really, I think that I love the feel of the vinyl, but I do like that the access to digital music's a lot easier, much easier, isn't it?
It does make it a lot easier. Like there are more DJs now purely because of the accessibility.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's it. That's no one can get gigs anymore because everybody's a DJ.
Too many people, I know. But the thing is with vinyl though, like I love it and it does sound amazing, but
yeah,
I know that like
you'll never know the pain of carrying around a vinyl record box.
I was going to say, like, I don't drive, so I'm just a wee guy. Like, I don't think, you know, it'd be that easy for me to kind of transport vinyl. And then there'd be nothing worse. Imagine getting to a gig and you're like, this was completely the wrong vibe, and you've got like 30 vinyls, just
that is
crap.
They've got to be good. Every one of those have got to be a good record.
No.
Like, I guess it kept the music better because everybody took their absolute best records because they couldn't be bothered carrying them all the way there, and they were all the way back basically. So it kept the standard a little bit higher at the gigs.
And so expensive as well.
Yeah,
like, I think it's easier to buy or cheaper to buy just a MP3 than a big.
They were traveling worldwide and like they were putting their cases on the plane and it was going missing and all that, so they never had their tunes to up. You know, that's the nightmare scenario.
You would actually cry.
Can you imagine?
What's your plans anyway, Frankie, for like the rest of this year? Have you kind of got any plans? Are you kind of working towards anything?
Gosh, well, it's hard because obviously we don't know when things are going to open. So yeah, I think the main thing for me is just continue with like kind of the music. So like I said, try and get our EP kind of a home for that, for the KINTRA EP, and then I guess, you know, keep working on the other kind of production stuff we're doing. Would I like to do something myself, like produce a track just by me? Yes. Well, do I have time for that? I don't know. So I think, you know, maybe that's something I should kind of look at. And even if it's just a daft wee edit that just pop up on SoundCloud on my own, I think that'd be quite fun. So we'll see if I can kind of do something like that, but we don't know. But yeah, I think it's just kind of continue with the mixes and things, and yeah, just continue.
The production, you've just got to get stuck in, haven't you? Even if it's just for your own enjoyment to make the song, isn't it? I've got probably hundreds of songs that I would never want to hear from years ago, but you just enjoy it. It's the process. You've just got to make a start, I think, isn't it? And really keep doing it.
I know. I think I've become too reliant on Jozette as well, like with the production thing. So I think I kind of need to do more of it myself, which I have started. But you know, it's like what you say. It's like, oh God, I probably wouldn't let anybody listen to that. Yeah. But it is fun. But I've just a lot of other stuff that I've been doing, just kind of non-music related as well. So I kind of need to just balance. Me and Jozette are writing a book.
Right.
I mean, that's what I mean, man. Like you just
as you do it.
I just need a biography. Is it a fictional story? Is it something
fictional about the Cold War? I know. I
Right,
know.
wow.
I know,
I did not
random.
see that coming at all. That just says it was just a total
Oh,
curveball you threw in there.
Honestly, man, like
Just expecting a bit of
There's going to
Zelda
be a movie
story or
in there. There's definitely going to be a movie in there somewhere, isn't there?
oh god, I enjoy too many things. I think that's my issue. Like I love doing so much, and sometimes, like, you know, I think you guys are probably similar. Like you kind of put pressure on yourself to maybe do too many things, and you're like,
Yeah, it's crazy. It is,
and
it's
then
crazy.
you have like
You've really
it's
got to
hard to
cut
get
it back a
downtime.
lot of the time because you just don't have enough time to do everything you want to do. You've really just got to focus on a few things and try and get them done.
I know it is difficult, and then it's like, well, what is the thing I want to do the most, and what is my priority here? So
Yeah, I think that is the biggest thing. You've got to just is where put your energy into what's working, whatever's working and what's progressing. Put your energy towards that, because you get sidetracked onto other things. But what's going to help you progress where you want to go is give the full focus to that. As an example, I've done that over the years, giving focus to about 100 different jobs, and nothing actually happens. Basically, you know, that way.
I know, and I think that
Yeah,
is kind of what I need to kind of knuckle down on. But like we're doing all right. I think doing this house up, that took a bloody chunk of time.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now that that's kind of done, it is nice that I can focus on stuff, because things did get put on the back burner for a good few months when that was happening. Yes. But no, it's grand. And I'm getting a new flatmate in about 2 weeks' time. So very excited about that.
Seems like you've been really productive, Frankie, because we interviewed a couple of guys from Denmark, producers, Cornham and Karma, they were called. And it turned out one of them had actually built a house in lockdown. He'd built his own. We thought he'd like, built a toy house. Turned out it was a whole house.
Whole house, like he was sitting in this new house that he'd built himself in the studio and all that. And we were like, I thought we just maybe just built the studio, like the studio area, but he's like, no, I built the entire house, the whole thing.
It's like, wow.
Wow. And I feel like hard done by living in a bloody block mattress for a few weeks. That's crazy.
Well, if you need any work done, just contact Connor and Karma because we get it done for you, no bother.
I know, but it's annoying though, because you'll have to isolate for like 2 weeks in the hotel, so it might be a bit difficult.
But it'll throw the house up in one day, honestly. So it's
So
worth
then,
it.
so it'll be worth it. It'll be absolutely fine. No, but that's amazing. Wow, good for him.
We'll not keep you too much longer, Frankie. Just one kind of thing before we kind of wrap things up. Like, where can people go to kind of like support your music then? Where are you most active on your pages and that?
I am an Instagram fiend. I'm always on Instagram. I need to get off it. But yeah, so you can go on my Instagram, which is at Frankie Elyse. So literally all my handles are just Frankie Elyse, which is very handy. So yeah. A lot of my mixes are on SoundCloud as well. So if you want to go Frankie Elyse SoundCloud. And then obviously I've got my KINTRA thing. So that's again, I think we've just got the same handle. You can tell I've got OCD, right? So KINTRA music. I know.
Strong branding.
KINTRA music it is. So yeah, hopefully if you want to check that on, you see if you like it. But yes.
Hopefully when we see you at Groove City Radio at some point when things start opening back up again properly.
I know, and hopefully they can get dancing as well in the club. Club 69.
Oh, see, in Club 69 you'll be in there DJing away with your sister, playing the violin and all that, and me and Paul will be in there listening.
And hopefully that ghost isn't in the studio of Groove City Radio. I'm kind of freaked out about that, I'm not going to lie.
Oh no, Tam's lovely. Great. He's a good
Great guy.
As long as you're nice, Tam, he'll be nice to you.
Should we get Tam on the decks with us?
Can we get Tam on for an interview? I want to talk to Tam. No, thanks a lot for coming on, Frank. We'll not keep you too much longer. Thanks for and go and watch some anime. Go and watch some anime.
I will. I'm sorry about that one. I know. To disappoint.
I know. I thought I'd a fellow anime lover coming on for a chat as well there. I was all excited.
Oh, apologies. But no, thank you so much for having me on as well. It's been great.
No worries. You take care, Frank. We'll speak to you soon, all right?
Okay, thank you. Bye.